we're a trending topic, so it's relevant to speak on.
Because it's interesting.
Wait, what?
It's fascinating. I am fascinated by hoes. I'll say it. I'm absolutely fascinated by the way the hoe mind works, the way the hoe hive works. I'm fascinated.
Next
I cover it
documentary.
on my show. You are correct. It is trending.
And that's why
when
it's such a
Emma
hot
gets
topic
up
to
and does a
speak about.
video and says something like, it's chic to be divorced before you're 30. It is absolutely fascinating to see how someone's mind can be so warped. In the same way that I think it's fascinating when anybody does anything crazy or says anything crazy, and I cover it on my podcast. I am not knocking it at all. I just tell people what the facts are. You can choose this lifestyle, and here is where you are 99.9% likely to lead in your life, right? You are probably not destined for marriage. You're probably not destined for a stable relationship. Men are going to not want this long term. You can say it 1,000 times. You can have 1,000 cultural examples, and women's still got to go out there and be hoes, because they're about their money and about a Cardi B song or whatever it is. So yes, I think it is fascinating.
Welcome back to Totally Based. I'm Joey Gaskin, and today we got to talk about this Whatever podcast featuring Candace Owens. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on new content from me. Now let's get to it. All right, so when I sat down to watch this, I have to be honest, I was super hesitant. I mean, you got Candace Owens over here, who is big presence, big voice, very well achieved, very classy woman. And then you have these ladies over here who are super promiscuous, OnlyFans chicks, sex workers. And then you bring all of this estrogen to one table. It just felt like there would definitely be a clash, right? Definitely a recipe for disaster, but maybe not. I mean, you see all these clips on the internet right now saying that Candace destroyed these girls. And I don't know that I feel that that's accurate. I felt like Candace was there and she educated these ladies on something that they needed to hear. They talked about marriage. They talked about relationships and kids. But one thing that Candace, she hit the nail on that I just really loved was she talked about the mystery of a woman and how that's a thing of the past these days. She even talked about the quality of possession in a relationship and how important it is to keep that intact. Here's what she had to say about that.
What are your thoughts on OnlyFans, sex work? And do you believe that a woman doing OnlyFans or porn might have an impact on her future romantic prospects? And if so, how and why?
The truth is that if you are going to engage in sex work, you are going to probably make a lot of money, especially if you're young. You're on a very tight rope. As you get older, your value goes down, and men are going to want women that are younger and available to them. I'm talking about in terms of just making the person who will subscribe to your OnlyFans page. Obviously, women, you're declining as you age, and the truth is that high value men don't want to date women that are sex workers or even women that aren't sex workers and lean into the whole talking about how sexy and are freely available on the internet for other men to see. What we're talking about is biological proclivity. What men are doing when they first say, this sounds amazing, to date a stripper or to date a prostitute or to date a sex worker, is there's this instinct to have sex. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to have sex all the time. But then when they realize that actually a form of wanting to be in a relationship is feeling that there's a mystery to a woman, that there's something that's yours, there's something that's sacred, there's something that's powerful and beautiful that just you share. And when they realize that they have to share that with other men, it completely diminishes the man. This thing that men need to feel. And I don't want to say possession in a way that sounds bad, because it's not bad. It's actually really beautiful. And I'm lucky and fortunate that I get to experience that in my marriage, and it's something that women should strive toward.
So I guess these ladies feel like they could just be on OnlyFans and post pictures, these nudes of themselves, and do sex work and sleep with whoever they want to sleep with. And then, when it's time, I can get married. I don't know if they realize that it doesn't work that way. I mean, body count, it does matter. Men want a woman that can be theirs. Again, going back to the point that Candace just made about that quality of possession and how beautiful that is. Listen to what this girl had to say.
So with women, it's a trade-off. First thing you said was, I make money. This is about money. It's about money, but when it comes down to marrying these women, men just don't want it.
And that's exactly why I said that in this industry, I'm single until I retire.
But it will still matter.
I don't plan on doing this or getting married or finding the love of my life until I retire, truthfully. And then after
hope
that
you see what happened to Nina Agdal.
No. And then after that, I will be honest and truthful with the person that I will be getting married to or whatever. And it'll be up to him to accept that, right? So,
And I'm
would
just
be
saying that
his
men's
decision.
natural proclivity is to not accept that because it brings them shame. Men are biologically proud creatures.
I understand,
and
but not everybody can be like
No, I know. I'm not. I'm just telling you what is happening and why people are. I'm just talking about cultural events, the Nina Agdal thing, and if you look at people like Emily Ratajkowski, she's obviously hot, but this is a woman who's now trying to make divorce chic, and I think that the understanding is in Hollywood is, you know, sleep with her and move on. She's not marriage material. Her husband, when he had her, cheated on her because they didn't have that thing. I feel like I've slept with the girl. I've seen her naked so many times, right? So there's nothing special about Sebastian Baer marrying her because we've all seen her naked. There's nothing sacred in that relationship. And I'm just speaking on telling you, you know, this is why women struggle to get married when they've made themselves available on OnlyFans, because other men don't want to share. They don't want to share their wife. They maybe will share their girlfriend. They might think it's fun to date a stripper for a little bit. They might think, oh, this means I'm going to have sex 12 times a day. But then when it gets down to just their biological instinct, it's actually quite embarrassing for them as a man, because they can look up your girl and here she is, you know? So that's what I think is happening.
Another topic that came up was this whole idea of dual income, no kids couples. You have girls out there now who are promoting on their TikTok and their Instagram this whole idea of childlessness. Women nowadays are more focused on their careers and not really focused on being moms or being wives. And so you see a lot of women having their kids in their 30s instead of in their 20s today. Check this clip out.
Wine nights.
It's 10:45 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm 29 and single, and I don't have kids yet. Here's what your Saturday morning looks like when you're single at 29 and you don't have a kid running around the house. I didn't rise from my bed until 10:15. Every time I thought, I should probably get up and do something. I thought, why? Nobody's making me. I'm not missing out on anything. I went to Beyonce last night, and I didn't get home until 1 a.m. And I danced and drank my little heart out, and I didn't pay a babysitter to watch my kids as I did that. And I woke up a tad hungover this morning, which is probably why I was in bed for so long. And I was just scrolling on my phone, and I saw a picture of shakshuka, and I thought, you know what sounds really good? Maybe I'm gonna learn how to make shakshuka today, because I have no plans, and I don't have kids, and I don't have a husband, and I don't have errands to run. I can go to the grocery store and learn how to make shakshuka. So that's on my agenda today. Also on my agenda, probably a rewatch of some Real Housewives of New York. I'm also doing a rewatch of Normal People on Hulu, which is really spicy and I highly recommend. Weirdly, I'm into this documentary on Netflix about blue zone countries, so I've got a pretty stacked day. Anyway, I say all this to say, whenever I'm hard on myself about why I'm not married and I don't have kids and I should be further along at 29, almost 30, I wouldn't want to do anything else this Saturday. And I know that you can do all these things when you have kids and you're married, and I understand, but the effortlessness and ease of my life, just kind of focusing on myself and the shakshuka I want to make or the Beyonce concert I want to go to, really pays off when I'm hard on myself for not being where society tells me I should be in life.
Right person. So just because she's 29, you're saying that it's like too late for her and she's going to be doing Xanax and drinking wine at night because she hasn't reached that point
I
yet?
didn't say that. That's not what my tweet said. That's not what my
You
tweet
said the future.
Yeah,
right.
Because she's obviously a narcissist, right? So like,
why
the
would you
issue
think
first
that?
and foremost, let's not pretend this is one video that she made. It's her brand on TikTok. It's her brand on social media. She talks about these are this community known as dinks. We're happy and we're childless. She talks about how great it is to be childless. So she has developed she's a social media influencer that talks about childlessness. So let's not pretend this is one woman making a video who just said, oh, I had a great Saturday. There's absolutely no reason, if you had a great Saturday at 29 years old and you learned to make shakshuka and you slept in at 11 until 11:15 or 10:15, whatever she said, that you need to bring up children. There's absolutely no reason. You just say, here's what I did today. I laid in all day. I did this. I did that. The fact that she has to correlate it to saying, and this somehow makes me better than people that have children, is the problem. She literally goes on to talk about not having children. It wasn't necessary in this video. So it's not like people are just shaming single women on the internet. You could go on right now and talk about what you've done all day, and there's no reason to bring up, but having a child or not. She's actually doing the shaming, and now we're trying to pretend that she's the victim. She's not. She has a brand where she talks about childlessness and she talks about leaning into selfishness and all the things that are amazing about not having children. Again, this is not the first video that she's produced. So the reason why, and if you're a man watching this, don't marry this woman. She's basically telling you she's selfish. She's telling you she's a narcissist. Everything she says is about me, 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 me. Even if you're single, you don't have to make your whole day revolve around you. You don't have to. You can get up in the morning, you can go help others, you can do other things. You can say, now that I have free time as a single woman, I can go dedicate time to the church. I can sing, I can do this, I can help people find God. That particular woman that you just looked at is a selfish bitch, and men should not marry her. That's my personal opinion.
So there was this portion of the podcast where they talked about religion. One of the girls on the podcast was wearing a shirt that said "Made in Hell," but she was also wearing a cross, which to me, off bat, says that she was looking for a response. And well, she got it. Check this out.
We're talking about religion really quick. Okay, you have a cross necklace, but then your shirt says "Made in Hell."
Yes, it does.
I'm a little confused.
Ironic.
Can you?
I mean,
I'm a little confused.
The stone is red, so it matched.
But why are you wearing a cross on your neck?
Are you color coordinating with your neck?
Because I don't see a cross as religious, so.
Okay,
I
just
thought
like you don't
necklace
see
was
a
cute.
marriage as religious. So these
I don't
words
think that a
they
marriage-
don't have meaning. This is why it's like we're at a stage where people are like, "What is a woman?" Because they just go, "Well, we're going to call it a marriage, but we're going to sleep with other people. We're going to bring in prostitutes. We're going to outsource raising the kids, or we're never going to have kids." You're calling it a family. It's not a family, and this is what it is. The words have no meaning, right? I'm wearing the cross. Why? I don't know. I don't think of it as religious. Okay, well, Jesus Christ died on the cross.
You think that.
That's what you think.
Wait.
It's
That's
been
what you
proven.
think.
So why
It's
are
been
you wearing the
proven.
cross?
And sex
Because I think it's
worker
cute.
is a
You just think
more
that the design is cute.
Yeah.
better term.
Wait, real
I
quick.
grew up
Hold on.
Catholic. I was religious, and I'm not
Prostitution,
anymore. I
being
don't have to
called-
believe in what you believe, and I can say that if
I didn't
somebody's-
say you had to believe. I asked you a question.
But
I
you're
said, why are
telling
you
me,
wearing the cross?
Okay, and you're saying that the religious aspect of marriage is the only thing that matters. It's not, because people don't follow what you believe.
Okay, I asked you why you're wearing the cross, and you said because you thought it was cute.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
glad
do.
we got an answer. She's wearing the
Okay.
cross around her neck because she thinks it's cute.
I do.
Would
I'm
you
not religious.
also wear like a Star of David?
It's cute.
As
Well,
like
because-
if it was cute, would you wear
Well,
it?
okay, well,
I
I
just
don't know
mean like
where we're going-
I'm
where this is
asking that
going
because
here.
I wonder.
Well,
like
I
my
have-
guess is that you would think that
gotta talk.
maybe you wouldn't wear a Star of David because you're like, oh, this is maybe like disrespectful to people who are.
Are you making the
Jewish.
argument? Maybe. I mean.
No, I'm just.
The secular.
It's a very good question.
I'm just saying.
Devil's advocate here. Secular argument. Someone might just say that the cross is just maybe it's more aesthetically pleasing even for an atheist. I don't know.
Sure,
I
but
don't know.
liberals
Okay,
are all about
look.
like having
Would you wear,
respect
like, a
and
yarmulke 'cause
tolerance.
it's,
So
like,
I'm
cute?
just like wondering if you
I'm
think
asking
it's.
would you wear a yarmulke?
I think those are very
Oh,
different
are you talking
things.
like
Why is the
blasphemy?
cross
I'm saying-
different
I'm
from the
s- I'm-
yarmulke?
I'm just.
I mean, I was
asking-
raised Catholic, and that's just
Would
not
you
something
wear
that
a
I believe
yarmulke
anymore.
if you thought it was cute?
No, I wouldn't wear. I mean, a yarmulke is completely different than
No,
a cross that's
it's
been
not.
adapted
They're
into
different
You can buy a
symbols of,
cross
like, a
necklace anywhere.
There is
Yeah, wearing a cross and a shirt that says "Made in Hell," I find that to be pretty disrespectful. I mean, that's one of the things I was looking for when I was looking for a wife. I was looking for a woman who had self-respect. If you can respect yourself, you can respect everyone else. And the way you dress, your speech, there's so many things that articulate your self-respect. And unfortunately, it just seems like a lot of these ladies don't have self-respect. Another thing that came up on this podcast was this term of hoflation. I'd never heard that before. Hoflation. What does that mean? Well, Candace tells us a little bit about that. Check this out.
And Paul Joseph Watson, I love his YouTube stuff, and he started talking about hoflation, just like
That's a thing.
actually hilarious, which is saying that men used to have to do a lot less and get a very high value woman. He's like, so think about your grandparents and your grandmother. She was a high value woman. She raised the kids. She was conservative. She was beautiful. All of these things, and now we live in this moment where everyone's kind of a hoe, and you have to work harder to get a woman that doesn't have any self-respect or any value. And I just thought it was a really interesting video. It was obviously funny, but he was saying something. And we live in hoflation now, where everybody in their own capacity is selling their bodies. And unfortunately, these are the options that men have. No, I'm not saying it's stunning to me that women talk about what men need to be and what men need to be, but I think just kind of the complete disintegration of when I look at what my grandmother looked like in pictures. She passed in 2013, and just how classy and how beautiful and how much I wanted to be like her. And now I look at women today, and I just think, man, I feel bad for guys that that the pool is getting smaller, but also it's really positive for women that are conservative and who it means that you're a part of maybe a smaller pool of individuals. I see it a lot more in the South, and that men should aspire to pursue those women, absolutely, to raise their families and to raise their kids.
Do you co-sign on the hoflation
Oh yeah,
theory?
I believe. Yeah,
Oh.
the women today
Okay.
are very low value, and so it's funny because the simulation is like men ain't shit is kind of the thing everybody's saying. Don't need a man, and it's funny that someone brought up Beyonce because she's living the exact opposite of what she's singing. She's just making money because she knows how to make money in a hoflationary environment. smart woman.
Candace makes such a good point. I mean, like, look at the women today that are considered role models. You got Beyonce's and Kim Kardashians and Cardi B's. Like, it's terrible that is the standard, right? These women take off their clothes and that's how they make money. Like, that is not what I want my daughter. I don't have kids, but I don't want my daughters to look at that and say that's what I want to be. That honestly is not really that attractive. It's quite fake. These women put on all this makeup and all this stuff that's not even real. And half the time you don't even know what you're getting when you meet these girls, especially nowadays. I just think it's really unfortunate because what it comes back down to is like they don't know their worth. They don't know their value starts somewhere else, right? Being made in the image of God, being a daughter to the King. So anyway, guys, I gotta say this video was very interesting, and hopefully the girls on this panel learned a lot from Candace. But anyways, if you like the content that I'm bringing to you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in a future video.